What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin Cash today. Shout out to the Dragon Riders in the House of the Dragon. Hit that like button, subscribe, and thank you all for being here. It is the 14th day of May. Here we are with about 10 hours, 47 minutes left in this day, sitting here at about $433. Shout out to the Dragon Riders. I don't know if I said it, but shout out to the Dragon Riders one last time. We've broken down, yet again, we've seen a breakout, right? Like we did here. Okay, we broke out, but there was no volume. We've broken out here, clear as day. We've broken out right here, but there's no volume. There's even less volume on this breakout than there was on the last one, or maybe very comparable volume at the very least. If I was bearish and I was looking at this chart like this, without any volume at all, if I was looking at this, maybe not even bearish, just neutral, with a bearish bias, even with the bullish bias, this is not good. It's really not good. And it's not good, especially with the fact that we've been continuing to break down here. And you got the fake out from the high and everything. You should be moving down. There should be volume coming in. Where is it? The volume is the one thing holding me up, making me think that maybe we do have some chance of salvation here. And I mean, as long as we're above $400, you guys, the reality is we've talked about this at length, various different ways over the months, over the years. If we break out of this zone here, we're likely going to go down to the bottom of this zone here. And it's quite possible that that's what happens. And at the moment, that's the call. I don't see enough to change the call. This breakout, though, to the downside is making me a little bit hesitant now of seeing these lower prices. We really might see some reversal come in here. Maybe we do just linger in this area longer. We pump up, Bitcoin drops afterwards, so we drop with it, whatever, but we're still just in this area, and then we break out later. We don't ever see prices below $400 again. I don't know. As long as we're above $400, as long as we're above, really, this trend line here, there's no reason to suspect that we're going down to these levels. And I didn't draw the line perfectly, but more or less, at this point, that line is right around $400. Can we wick below it? Yes, we've wicked below it before. Yeah, we can. Can we wick above it? Yes. That doesn't mean that we break above it. That doesn't mean that we break below it. We've seen that. It can get a little sloppy, but more or less, as long as we're not closing consecutive days below $400, there is a chance that we prevail from here. Bart patterns, you guys. Bart patterns are like this, right? You move down, you get the Bart head, and then you move up. It's like Bart Simpson, right? That's why they call it a Bart pattern. They typically happen with a sharp move down and then choppy price like this and very low volume. The reason it's a Bart is because you move back up, you get the Bart Simpson head. You move up fast because there's no volume, so when volume comes in, you have no problem moving back up to where the original price was before the drop happened. It's like a psychological signal of boredom in the markets, and that's why it's typically manipulation that causes these things, right? The market's bored, so the big dogs are pushing the price around. Let's look at the 1 hour time frame. We'll zoom back out. Okay, 1 hour time frame here. I wouldn't say this is a bear flag, though I guess it could be. I mean, in all fairness, I guess actually it does look like a bear flag. Maybe it is. I spoke too soon. Bear flag, if it is a bear flag, and it is, let's call it a bear flag actually. Just because it's a bear flag does not mean you have to break down. You can break out to the upside. Bear flags do break out to the upside sometimes. That's what do they call that? A broken pattern. Anyways, a busted pattern. We're at 434. That pattern would take us down to 418, but that's still not low enough to completely validate the bearish narrative. As we're moving down here, as we're seeing systematic lower lows come in, right? All of these little lower lows, the volume is decreasing as well. Just something to note. The 1 hour RSI is terrible. It looks sad. You do have bullish divergence, to be fair. That divergence did start back here. Maybe that's good enough for a move up to 450, but even a move up from here up to 450 does not validate the bullish side either. We're in this kind of state of limbo until we really see some significant price to the upside or the downside. Stochastics are choppy. The MACD is not going to help us because we're sideways and choppy here. So I'm not too worried about those. Though the MACD, I suppose, being green for this long and being in an overall bearish environment would lead me to believe we go lower. The stochastics are in a more or less bearish environment, but too choppy to get a read here. And same thing with the RSI. So 4-hour time frame, maybe we'll get some help from that. Come. There we go. A little bit of bullish divergence on the 4-hour MACD. That's nice, actually. It's pretty nice. Starting from back here, even. Stochastics have been oversold for a while. Might be time to move up. That's good. That's looking good, actually. This is bad. This is a really bad look on the stochastics, but because you've been oversold for so long, it'd be like here, if we were still bullish, even after being overbought all this time, still bullish here, we can move up still. We can stay in the overbought zone longer, but we're at the end of our ropes for sure, and that move was ending. We're here. We're oversold for a while. Here, you could have still been bearish. It's a very bearish reading overall, and you were validated even in that bearish stance. You did move down, but shortly then after we moved back up to this, if you didn't sell here, you didn't short here, or you bought some here, it only took about a day, and then you were back to neutral, and inevitably you actually did move up a little bit. Choppy sideways stuff, whenever you're choppy and sideways, indicators become less reliable, but nonetheless, this move up was predicated on this extension in the oversold zone on the stochastics, which same thing here. This doesn't mean that we have to move up through the roof, but maybe we move up, back to this neutral area here, or we even move up back to this high point here, something between about 465 and 450. We're at 434 now. I think the odds that we move up are greater than moving down at this point, but just a little bit. Again, nothing too significant. The RSI is bearish over. I mean, really, it's wonky, to be fair. I mean, you're getting overbought, then oversold, overbought, then oversold, and you're kind of neutral. You're in this bearish area now. I still stand with it. I think that we're going to move up from here. If we move down, it would be much like this, where we see a quick drop, but then we come back up. Something like that. If we're looking at this on the daily time frame, the RSI actually looks kind of bullish here on the daily. It's not bullish, first off, actually. Overall, it's very bearish, but there's some bullish posturing going on with these higher lows here. We get these higher lows lined up, and you're actually right at the point where you'd expect to find support. We haven't been overbought since July of 2025. This RSI is anything but bullish, but there's this bullish positioning, bullish posturing right now. It reminds me somewhat of like what we saw back here, which for a time was persistent to the upside, but it was very disappointing. We didn't break out when we expected to break out. We kept rejecting from the overbought zone. That wasn't good. Here, we went from getting oversold to rejecting the oversold zone. Now we're forming higher lows in this tandem trajectory. It's not bad. Stochastics are reset. The MACD is, I don't know what to make of the MACD, actually. Kind of looks bearish because you're dying off in your bullish momentum here. You're right at the zero to reject, and you are technically building bearish momentum. So none of that looks good. But choppy and sideways, the MACD and the stochastics, for what it's worth, any indicator really, they're less reliable when you're choppy and sideways. And we've been choppy and sideways for months now, for at least 2 months now. And really, we've been choppy and sideways for longer than that, but relative to this. So overall, not a whole lot's changed. We're at 433. I don't expect that we're going to be breaking out to new all-time highs anytime soon, or new relative highs even anytime soon. I don't necessarily have the same conviction that I did before that we go down here, but I'm going to say that this is the same call. It still is the same call. It's just what we're seeing here, where we quote unquote should be breaking out. We should, because this volume sucks. Or not the volume sucks. Sorry, the price action. I'm getting ahead of myself. The price action is saying that we should be breaking out. The volume sucks. So that's making me think that maybe something else is going on here. Maybe we have more time in this range. Perhaps we even do break out to the upside here a little bit before inevitably working our way down. It wouldn't surprise me if by the end of this year that we saw prices that were down below $300, down at these low areas. It wouldn't surprise me. And at this point, that still remains the call. And I'm stacking cash in preparation for this. That's the area that I want to buy. But if I'm wrong, I don't care if I have to buy up here, man. This is still cheap compared to where it's going to go inevitably. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Okay, take care. Bye bye.